To our latest session. I'm Edward Stewart, I'm the Solution Director for Spitfire Analytics Consultancy, and we are today going to be looking at upgrading your perspectives web sheets, and more specifically the action button that are associated with them, to the Planning Analytics for Excel versions. So we've got a number of customers who are upgrading from 10.2 to the new world for Planning Analytics Workspace and Planning Analytics for Excel. And there's some trepidation, there's some fear, particularly from those developers that may have been using TM1 for a long time, about switching between perspectives to Planning Analytics for Excel. So there's a very distinct change now. It's going to be going away from a developer tool, a client tool, which is accessible by every single user, to being something which is very much a distinct client-based tool. Now, this is going to require a bit of a shift and a bit of a change in the way in which you work now. And we see that as a good thing, because it means that then we're going to be having that separation of concerns and delineation. And so then it's an additional level of security that's attached. So in this video, I'm actually just going to very quickly show you a basic example of a planning application with a couple of buttons on it, and how we can upgrade it from the old world in perspective with the old style action buttons, and then migrating those in place into a Planning Analytics for Excel based application. So here I've got a basic example of a profit and loss application. I've just used profit and loss cube, very rudimentary. Basically, I've got time dimension and nominal cost center version and a measures dimension, and I've got a application here called action button. Now what we have in here is just a listing of cost centers, some nominals, and then a basic total of actuals and total budgets. And then my rudimentary application is simply got a button that will copy actual values into budget, clearing budget values, and then just refreshing the values that are on the cube. So here we can see that we're using TM1, the perspectives add-in, the ribbon add-in, TM1, and then I can just copy actual to budget, run to process, brilliant, refresh the values, budget values are on in here. Actually I want to clear the values, there we go, cleared. So my application does no more than this. This is purely an example just to show you action button being updated. So if I come out of my server example now, and I go to my local client example here on my machine, I'm using the IBM Planning Analytics for Excel ribbon here now, and we can see I've not got attached to the TM1 Perspectives ribbon. So if I go in to open my action button application, then here we go, I open it, and we can see that we have exactly the same application, same look and feel, no change at all, still utilising all the DBRW formulas, it's still recalling those numbers as we need to see them, but when I hit my buttons, TM1 p.xla not loaded. That's essentially saying that the TM1 add-in has not been loaded, and then therefore I cannot run this process. So I now am not able to use this application. So what do? So we'd actually go to the IBM Planning Analytics ribbon, select the options button, make sure you're selected onto IBM Planning Analytics, scroll down to the bottom here and you'll see action button settings, and then from here this utility will upgrade perspectives action buttons in selected workbooks. So I can upgrade the action buttons here. I'm going to choose to create a backup file just in case, but you should be backing up your whole models before you do this, just in case. And then there's a conversion log here as well, so I'm just going to set them both to the same location, select OK. And now what we can actually do is we can say that we can do it from a top level. We can do it for a whole server, we can do it for a whole region, but for safety I'm just going to select one application, just to give you a easy simple view. So we can see here action buttons upgraded completed, total number of files found, files upgraded. Okay, now if you are already inside your application then it won't work, so actually I'll need to close this, go back into my application, Now if I reopen this, the buttons and everything still look exactly the same. However, when I copy my actual to budget, then these processes are now working. So I can clear my budget values. There we go. And so these are all working as expected. Now when I right click, I can see that I get a standard Excel based functionality with regards to right clicking, so it's more like a Excel based button. And if I want to actually make any tweaks to them, then I can select my workbook tab on the task pane over here, and I can see that I've got my action buttons all available here to update. So if I, for instance, I just have a look at my refresh values button, then I can see I get exactly the same buttoned window that I would expect to see in perspectives. And so then we can see it's just simply calculate and rebuild only, automatically calculate the sheet, and I get the same options, the same ability to update these values as we were expecting in the past. Now, if I want to then examine exactly what has happened behind the scenes, then I can navigate through to my log files and conversion files, and we can see now that I've got here action button upgrade, and it's a timestamp for when the process would run. And so then we've got the perspectives action button upgrades have been started, looking at the location of where that application is, where it saved the backup file, number of workbooks it's found, and then what it's done. It's confirmed that it's upgraded the values, and then the upgrade has been finished. Now if I open up my subsequent folder, I can now see that if I navigate through, that then I get back to the final version of my action button as expected. So if you do it for a en masse, then you can see all of these values will be added all up together. I would suggest you probably do them piecemeal, get a proper testing plan in place, and then migrate your application ad hoc. But if you're feeling adventurous, then by all means go for the whole lot. Now, there was some IBM guidance in the manuals, as you may well expect, and it's very straightforward. It's just literally saying exactly what I've just gone through, and these can be found in the IBM support knowledge base, which I'll put into the links as well. So that's it, as simple as that. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you soon.